The question was about influencer marketing, and I loved the question. And I wanted to kind of give some background of exactly what the question was around so everyone's on the same page. So before I dive in, I do want to introduce myself. I am Christi Bernard, a small business marketing specialist. I offer support through things like my online course where I teach you how to actually create your own brand, your own marketing materials, and find your voice. And then I also do done for you services such as build your brand for you or build your website or marketing collateral for you. So that's a little about me. And now let's get on to those top tips. So for influencer marketing, the context here is if you are on Instagram, and this happens probably mostly for product-based business owners, you might get messages from someone asking if you would like, the messages are always kind of different. Typically, it's either that they want you to pay them to get your post or your product in front of their audience, or it's that they want a free something in exchange for posting about your product. So it can go a couple different ways. Either way, it doesn't matter. No matter what, I want you guys to consider this form of marketing a collaboration. And I definitely talk about collaboration in the program. So this is just a really specific example of what collaboration can look like. And there's so many different ways that it can happen. But I want you to approach this as, okay, this means that I'm being asked to work with another person, and the goal for me, myself, is to get awareness to my brand and hopefully drive new targeted audience and sales into my business, right? So that is your main goal when we're talking about influencer marketing. And it's really important to keep this goal in mind. I would not say yes to pretty much anyone that reaches out to you asking you about marketing your thing. I would be proactive about this, and I'm not saying that it's never going to be the case, but typically those people have their own agenda, and it's not always the best fit for our product or our audience, okay? So consider any type of influencing collaboration, influencer marketing is, you want to research it and you want to get in front of someone that's really connected to your mission, your values, and some form of common ground with your business. So I'm going to give kind of an example of how we could find someone that would be a good fit. And it always is going to begin with research, okay? There's a couple things involved with influencer marketing. Thing number one is we need to research. Thing number two is consider cost, because you don't always have to pay. And I know when we first go into that, we feel like we have to either give away a product, which is paying, even if you know that's a lower cost to you than technically its value, because sometimes we pretend like, oh, our work that went into it was free, and we only count the materials that we spent, or we only count the shipping and materials that we spent. I want you to count your time that goes into it and consider the full cost of that product. So if it's a $60 shirt that you're giving to someone, it is a $60 investment into essentially almost like an ad spend. You can think of it like that, to try to make more sales, right? So really think through, is that investment going to be worth it for you in the long run? So when it comes to researching this form of collaboration, I want you to think about your audience. Who is a good fit for your audience? Who shares similar values as your audience? Who promotes a lifestyle where your product really fits in? Is their post style something that fits your own post style, right? Because if your goal is to be taking members of their audience, driving it to your brand or business, we want them to stick. And in order for them to stick, you have to have something in common with that influencer. And just because someone has 300,000 followers does not mean that their audience is going to convert as well as someone that has 1,000 members of their audience to your brand of business. So take that audience size number out of the equation for sure. I wouldn't say yes to someone just because they have a massive audience. And I'm telling you this because I've made this mistake. I ran an online clothing boutique. I did handmade Etsy shop stuff when my kids were like newborn. That's how I got started online version of business. And I fell into this trap of sending out product to some influencers that reached out to me, and they had rather large audience sizes. So I thought it was definitely like nothing to lose situation, right? Totally worth sending my product. The cost for me was not all that high, definitely worth getting my stuff out there. Well, some of these gals that make a beautiful presentation, they do a wonderful job of taking a picture in your product. They make a cute little post, but if you click to look at who likes their stuff or who's actually following them, it turned out that it was a whole lot of dudes. And for me, I sell a product for women, and I didn't do my research ahead of time. So I saw the audience size, I saw how they presented it, I saw all the fluff on the outside, and I never dug in to first research to make sure that was a good business move. So I was sending my products to these gals, and they would tag me, which did have a little bit of benefit because I got to use those pictures that they took on my own timeline, which helped my audience see that, like, yes, people were using my product, people were enjoying my product, so there was that benefit. But as far as getting in front of their audience, I got no benefit at all, because it wasn't a target audience. It wasn't someone that genuinely was invested in or cared about or had the same values as me. It wasn't a great lifestyle switch. They were following this girl because she was beautiful and she was cool, and for some reason they thought it was fun to follow her, right? So you want to choose someone that is actually on kind of like a motivated mission, just like you. You want to choose someone that has an audience that is motivated. You want to choose someone that has an audience that lives a similar lifestyle to where your product really does slide in and fit in, and genuinely and authentically. So take the fluff out of it, take the influencer size out of it, and really look at this person as a whole and make sure they are someone you want to collaborate with. I would much rather see you end up working with someone that you can have an actual working relationship with, someone that you can see yourself like getting along with, someone that you can see yourself getting referrals from or giving them referrals. I would much rather see that than you going for someone that has the like giant audience size, because that's, in the long run, it's not going to benefit you as well. So here's how I would suggest really going around the influencer marketing. Think about an influencer, and maybe they're already in your feed, maybe you've randomly come across them. Kind of like run through your gut, is my targeted audience hanging out around them? And for an example, let's say that you do clothing and you know that your person likes to travel. Can you find someone that has a genuine audience that is into travel, that you can maybe collaborate with the person that owns that that social media account, that you can cross promote each other. So they're like, oh, awesome, my audience would totally love to know about a type of clothing that's great for, you know, packing and is great for this type of travel. And you're going, awesome, my audience would also like some travel tips because it goes hand in hand. That's why they buy my product, right? Forming that type of a relationship may mean that you don't even have to send them something. So we can take the cost out of it sometimes in doing this. This is another reason I want to help you guys really think this through. You may not even have to send them anything for free. That type of relationship may mean that you give them a shout out, their account a shout out, and they give your account a shout out. And if that goes well and you're like, okay, obviously their audience loved the idea of what I had, or love my product, or love the idea of adding clothing to their travel that suits their needs. So then maybe then you make the decision that you can send them some free product in order for them to promote more, right? And I've also seen ways where you can, you know, you can get crazy with it. You can give them specific coupon codes and track those and give them a little referral percentage if you wanted, or it may simply just be in exchange for me sending this product to you, I expect X amount of pictures and X amount of shout outs. And maybe you're saying, I will also point people to your account too, or something like that. But I hope the main point that you're pulling away from this is we need to do research on who it is we're partnering with. Consider it a working relationship, and I would way prefer you are proactive in finding someone that fits your brand best, rather than when someone comes to you and you see their account size and you see that they're attractive and that they take good pictures and they have 1,000 likes. Like, I would steer away from those, because I have been there and getting sucked into those, and they do not always transfer to any benefit for your business. So I'd much prefer you were the one reaching out to someone else. You were the one creating a relationship with someone. You were the one that really look at who's liking their stuff. Look at who's commenting. Creep on their following. Make sure that it's people that look like your targeted audience. Not a bunch of dudes that are following a girl and you sell women's clothing, right? And if you preach like a wholesome lifestyle, you definitely don't want to get in front of someone that instead preaches a different type of lifestyle, right? You guys have training in Expert Status 2.0 on marketing campaigns and reach and growth. Collaboration, which influencer marketing falls under, is under that plan. After you start kind of testing the waters on some of this stuff, and this is something I did not include in Expert Status and I didn't even think of until starting to answer this question, is it can be really helpful to measure the success. And on Instagram, you can actually look at analytics. So you can see how many people, I think you have to have a business profile. So do switch to a business profile if you have not done that. But you can see like 47 people viewed my profile in the last week or whatever it might be. And you can track, after I worked with this person, how many more views did I get on my profile? And from there, if you have a link to Etsy, go into your Etsy analytics, which if you haven't done so, start tracking these analytics in Etsy. And you can see, oh, X amount of people viewed my products and X amount of purchases were made. And when you start kind of looking at the different analytics, we're saying X amount of people hit my page, X amount of people hit my shop, X amount of people purchase, then you can start really making better decisions about what is working for converting leads, what is working for growing my audience, and what isn't working for growing my audience. And I will make another video on that, because you can actually measure some of this stuff in Facebook as well. It doesn't have the same abilities as the Instagram account will, as far as being able to see how many people specifically view the profile, which is very helpful. But we can definitely still start to measure the effectiveness of our actions, as far as like we can say friend requests or requests to join my group, or views on my video, or sales specifically, clicks to my website. There's different areas that you can really track to make sure that, okay, I've been doing this plan for 60 days. Am I getting anywhere with it, right? So I will create another video for that, and it can be very helpful as you are starting to test different people's audiences, different lifestyle areas. Like maybe you learn that your person isn't really travel, but the people that are into gardening and following those accounts, like, oh my God, they eat up your particular type of clothing or something, right? So just starting to track that stuff can be really helpful in honing in your business growth. Okay, do you have any other questions? Is anything coming up? If you're watching this video and you have any other questions, be sure to ask. So yes, that's all for this video, and I will definitely be creating another and letting you guys know on the metrics and measuring the effectiveness of our campaigns and business growth. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and would like more support, do check out my website, christybernard.com. I have tons of free resources just like this PDF right here. In YouTube, if you're on the mobile version, you may have to click what looks like almost an upside down V to open up this video description. And in that video description is where you will find links to things like my top free resources and my website, so that I can further support you and your small business growth in less time. So thanks for watching. Bye for now.